A big disappointment for thousands of music fans in Chicago. The United Center abruptly canceled rapper NBA YoungBoy's concert. The show was set for tomorrow night.
That's Al Razai reports from outside the United Center with reaction from fans who say they're left waiting for big refunds.
On September 23rd, the United Center shocked thousands of fans with a short, cold press release announcing that NBA YoungBoy's concert set for the next night. September 24th was canceled. Refunds would follow, and that was it. No explanation, no press conference, no smiling official trying to cover up the chaos. Just silence, as if someone pulled the plug on the entire event in an instant. Fans who had paid anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for front row seats felt their money burn. Away hotel bookings became useless. Flight tickets turned into painful reminders of a wasted plan, and the arena itself stayed quiet, offering no reason at all. The silence.
Their concert happening here at the United Center tonight, but we know it's been 6 years since NBA YoungBoy was on a stage in Chicago, and now fans here are going to have to wait even longer than that. Tonight, there's still no confirmation from the United Center as to why exactly the concert was canceled with just a 2 days notice.
Spoke louder than words, fueling rumors, speculation, and frustration across the city, turning a canceled concert into a storm of anger and disappointment. Within minutes, the online world exploded with anger and frustration. One fan shouted how inconsiderate people took off work, booked flights, spent their last dollars just to be there. Business owners from the West Side complained about losing a rare payday, while concert goers flooded social media with screenshots of ticket cancellations, staring at them in disbelief as if they were watching a natural disaster unfold. Chicago didn't just lose a concert. It felt like a shockwave hit the entire city, leaving behind.
So the fans said NBA YoungBoy would never make it out of Chicago. Turns out he's not going at all. The tour is canceled in Chicago.
Behind a storm of unanswered questions. Was this simply about crowd control, or was it a quiet response to a bigger, more dangerous threat that no one in power wanted to admit? And in the middle of all the confusion, everyone was left wondering who was supposed to be afraid: the artist, the fans, or the city itself. Silence settled, and all attention turned to Contrell Deshaun Golden, better known as NBA YoungBoy, a 25-year-old whose career has unfolded like an action movie no one asked to star in. He had barely finished a nearly 2-year prison sentence on gun charges before receiving a last-minute pardon from none other than Donald Trump in May. With the ink on his house arrest papers hardly dry, he launched his Make America Slime Again tour, racing across the country. But Chicago officials didn't have to search court records to feel nervous. Just a week earlier, Kansas City made headlines after a viral video showed a teenage fan.
So there is a video circulating from an NBA YoungBoy concert that went down in Kansas City. Now, NBA YoungBoy's concert or tour has been happening for some time. It's been going viral because the crowd, the NBA YoungBoy fans go hard for him. But at this specific concert in Kansas City, at the T-Mobile Arena, there was an elderly man in the video that is seen being attacked by a younger guy, like a really younger guy.
Elderly man was at the show? Or was
The man viciously attacking a 66-year-old venue worker. The man collapsed. The teen was dragged away by security and later by his own parent. The T-Mobile Center's Shawnee Ross called the assault horrific, a word that spread fast across news outlets, sparking debates over whether NBA YoungBoy's concerts were music events or magnets for pure chaos. Those were not random incidents. Either Los Angeles had its own share of scuffles at NBA YoungBoy.
They pop it real heavy, and they heavily secure, bro. Like,
That's why I think it's more so the venue and not YoungBoy saying he's not gonna perform. It's like the venue
saying,
we just saw what happened at Crypto, y'all, you won't do it here.
But that's what's baffling to me though, is like the venue saying that we don't feel like we could protect people in this environment, that we can make sure that like no weapons get in and stuff like
shows with security, always on high alert. The atmosphere inside his concerts carried a heavy, uneasy energy, something you would never feel at a Lord performance, no matter how loud the music got. So when Chicago's United Center announced just days before canceling the event that no bags of any kind would be allowed, not even clear purses, not even for grandmothers, it was clear the writing was already on the wall. You cannot pat down an entire city for tension, but you can raise the barriers higher when you sense a storm approaching. Fans even admitted the shows felt heavily locked down and on edge, like trouble was always lurking nearby. And make no mistake, the thunder hanging over Chicago had a name the last time NBA YoungBoy even considered stepping.
A lot of Chicago artists can't perform in Chicago right now because of that
for
girl's
sure.
album release.
Almost
party.
all of them. And that's when that's the standpoint I was looking from it too. I was like, when I first heard about it, I'm like, I'm already knowing like why B ain't backed out of it, but just like for safety, career.
Into the City was 5 years ago, and in that time, the rap scene there turned into a minefield of old grudges and fresh wounds. Nothing symbolized that more than the tragedy of King Von in November 2020. Outside a club in Atlanta, fists turned into gunfire. And by the end of the night, King Von Lil Durk's protege and Oblak's rising star was gone. The shooter was allegedly tied to Quando Rondo, a name directly connected to YoungBoy. What followed was more than just beef. It was
insurance, even like the touring company and all that too. So the premium for this show, given all of the history and what everybody could easily Google, is probably outrageous. And they were just like, no, we can't do that. Take it on down to your next stop.
Y'all see Draco family trying to sue the venue where his
they,
demise is at. So that's the type of that happens.
A full-blown Cold War played out through music. Lil Durk dropped "Aha," a clear warning, while YoungBoy responded with "I hate," YoungBoy calling out Von dissing Durk, taking shots at India and almost anyone not in his circle. It was a lyrical war, always shadowed by real violence and the constant fear that words would lead to more bloodshed. The same arena had already been forced to shut down a Lil Durk concert in 2023 after a false shooting scare. So this was never just another Wednesday night, September. 24 was a date circled in red for anyone who knew how to read between the lines. NBA YoungBoy, still carrying the weight of his legal battles, was scheduled to perform right in the heart of...
I guess for safety reasons, yes, it was good that it was called off, but at the same time, you got to think about the fans too. We put a lot of money into this.
Durk's territory, barely a mile from neighborhoods where rap feuds and real-life vendettas don't just overlap, they completely erase each other. Officials may have insisted it was only about safety, but the feeling of a looming clash was impossible to ignore. Even the touring company and insurers knew. The risks and the premiums spoke louder than any official statement online. The story only grew messier. Some so-called fans claimed the United Center was simply hating on NBA YoungBoy, accusing the venue of blocking his return to Chicago, not for safety reasons.
I'm not famous. I don't think about it. I just have a lot of people that know me, I guess. I'm terrified of people. I am very scared of people. Like on my kids. I am terrified of people. And I am very shy.
But because they were picking sides, others pushed the rumors even further, suggesting that Oblak members had allegedly planned to secure VIP passes and confront YoungBoy face-to-face, the kind of twist you would expect in a Netflix documentary, not in real life. Industry insiders claimed they had heard chatter Reddit threads, swore there was an inside job, and multiple bloggers promised exclusives about a supposed hit list, all while Chicago's official channels stayed completely silent. Their refusal to comment only fueled speculation that canceling the concert wasn't just about avoiding chaos. It was about quietly choosing...
How many lives I am responsible for when it comes to my music? How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually hurt someone? And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day, but I promise to clean whatever I can clean.
Sides in a feud that has already carved deep scars into the history of modern rapists. This just a simple case of preemptive crowd control, a decision made to keep things safe on paper, or was there something much bigger at play? Did the powers that be step in to make sure NBA YoungBoy could not plant his flag on enemy territory with Oblak? Lurking in the shadows and old scores still unsettled. Every rumor, every screenshot, every DM, and every Instagram live replayed the same question again and again. Did Chicago really cancel a party, or did it block an ambush? The line between legend and reality blurred, and the silence from the United Center only deepened the suspense, because when the lights stayed off, the city was left to wonder who exactly was being protected. Was it the fans who poured money into tickets, hotels, and flights? Was it the officials trying to keep blood off their streets? Was it the insurance companies staring at a risk too great to cover? Or was it even young boy himself, whose name carries both a massive following and an equally massive target? The tension painted a picture of a city caught between entertainment and survival, a city where rap feuds spill out of headphones and into neighborhoods where the music stops, but the danger keeps playing in the background, and as the speculation raged won, truth became impossible to deny.
People from the stands had to help get the boy off of him. There was no other guard, but he also didn't have time to like call a guard.
Well, if you ever been to a lot of those shows, a lot of times they're not real bouncer security guards. They're just people that just work at the venue that just tell people where to sit.
Well, they need to be for an NBA YN show.
Yes.
Okay.
Chicago did not just shut down a concert. It shut down the possibility of a moment that could have escalated into history with consequences too big to control, leaving everyone from fans to insiders to rivals asking the same final question: who really had the most to lose? Even as the dust settled in Chicago, the entire country was watching a bigger twist unfold behind the scenes. NBA young boy who just last year sat behind bars as a federal felon was now free, thanks to a presidential pardon signed by Donald Trump. A pardon that stunned legal experts, hip-hop fans, and television pundits alike, because how often do you see someone with a record stacked with gun charges, allegations, and courtroom drama leap straight from house arrest to headlining a massive 27-city arena tour? Yet that was the reality sold out. Crowds from Dallas to Brooklyn were proof of his unstoppable momentum until he hit a wall in Chicago, the one city where the headlines practically write themselves. And that roadblock left everyone asking how many lives, how many rivalries, how many storylines was young boy truly carrying on his shoulders as he tried to step onto that stage. Chicago's refusal to let
I was flooded with millions of dollars from the time I was 16 all the way to this point in my life. And I woke up one morning and I was like, damn, they got me. Man, look at the shit I spoke about. Look at the shit I put in these people's ears.
NBA young boy perform felt deeply personal for a city already haunted by its own reputation, where every high-profile shooting or out-of-control concert can hijack the national spotlight in seconds. There was no room for a spectacle that could spiral into chaos, and the signs of unease were obvious. The United Center's strict no-bag policy rolled out specifically for this show wasn't just caution, it was a warning siren. No purses, no fanny packs, not even the clear ones that pass at pop concerts. Other acts like Dua Lipa or Lorde never faced those rules. The message was clear. This was not business as usual, and the stakes were too high to gamble on. But beyond the cancellation hung a larger shadow. Kansas City had just shown the nightmare scenario days earlier with that viral video of a teenager attacking a 66-year-old venue worker. Shani Ross, vice president of the T-Mobile Center, didn't mince words calling the assault. Horrific police stepped in the footage, replayed endlessly online, and suddenly every arena manager and city official in the country had to ask, what if this escalates?
NBA YoungBoy's had a string of successful sold-out arenas or whatever he's doing, and I haven't heard about nothing
at all.
No incidents. This is the first incident I've heard about.
Yes, and that's what I mean by like the energy is insane, but I haven't heard of incidents at all. But yeah, they are young. I actually we were talking about it. I want to go to the concert, but
Chicago decided it didn't want to find out, as Jabari Evans, a University of South Carolina professor and Chicago rapper, explained. This wasn't just a rap beef. It was a public safety issue with thousands of people in a venue. The risk of violence was real. It wasn't only about music anymore. It was about lawsuits, insurance, disasters, viral headlines, and the kind of images politicians fear most. A powder keg waiting to explode, even with all the real world fallout. The undercurrent of rumor and threat refused to die down. Whispers about Block affiliates buying VIP passes to confront NBA YoungBoy. weren't just coming from random trolls. They were being repeated by fan accounts, half credible, blogs, and non-stop Instagram live streams. And even if some of it was exaggerated, the possibility that law enforcement believed enough of it to quietly pressure the venue was more than enough to spark conspiracy theories. What should have been another stop on a sold-out tour turned into national headlines. A rapper who had been pardoned by the White House now being quietly uninvited from Chicago. Not by a mob, but by risk managers, lawyers, and city leaders too nervous to take the gamble while the spotlight stayed fixed on rap drama. The real collateral damage piled up far away. Fans who paid $500 to $1,000 for front-row seats were left holding useless tickets, with flights, hotels, and ride shares already paid for receipts. Stretching from Wisconsin to Detroit and beyond, what was meant to be a night out, or even a once-in-a-lifetime escape to see their favorite artist evaporated overnight, every dollar spent turned to dust, leaving a silent chain reaction of financial pain that rippled far past the arena walls surrounding businesses, felt the Sting corner bars, late-night food joints, merch shops, and even the parking lot hustlers all watched their expectations collapse. Hotel lobbies that should have been filled with excited fans were silent, their bookings voided, their profits gone. In the blink of a press release, ride-share drivers and street vendors stood by with no crowds to serve the promise of busy shifts and extra tips erased by a feud they had. No part in the spotlight shifted from the main stage to the margins.
Yeah, Marie, so far officials with the United Center have not given a specific reason for the cancellation, which came just 2 days before the concert was set to begin. Now, the cancellation did come a few days after the United Center announced a strict no bags of any size policy specifically for the NBA young boys,
revealing that the real casualties were not the celebrities but the everyday people who rely on these events to pay rent and keep the lights on when you zoom out.